Hello students, today we'll revise the poem The Bangle Seller. The Bangle Seller is written by our very own poet Sarojini Devi Naidu. Sarojini Devi Naidu, who is also known as the Nightingale of India. She wrote poems concerning India and India's cultural heritage. Sarojini Naidu was a freedom fighter, statesperson, and a poet. She is known as the Nightingale of India because of the beauty and melody of her poetry. She is perhaps the foremost among Indians who have written poetry in English, and no anthology of poetry is considered complete without some poems of Sarojini Naidu. She invariably chooses Indian subjects and themes for her poems. Some of her important works are folk songs, songs of love and death, The Temple, A Pilgrimage of Love, The Queen's Revival, and The Golden Threshold. The Bangle Seller is one of her well-known poems. It is included in her collection of poems called The Bird of Time. It focuses our attention on the social, religious, and symbolic value of bangles in Indian culture. No Indian widow is supposed to wear bangles. The wearing of bangles is suggestive of happiness, peace, and prosperity. The newlyweds wear bangles of different hues from those worn by unmarried girls. The first stanza of the poem describes the brief familiar setting of the poem. A group of bangle sellers is on the way to the temple fair to sell their bangles. The bangle sellers are poor, but they do not talk of their poverty. One of the bangle sellers tells us of each stage in an Indian woman's life in terms of the longing of bangles of a particular color. Each stanza, in fact, deals with each of the three stages in an Indian woman's life: as a virgin girl, as an expectant bride, and as a mature matriarch. The themes of the poem. The first theme that comes up to mind when we read the poem is about womanhood. According to the poet, the life of an average Indian woman passes through three main stages: as a maiden, as a bride, and as a mother. Each of this stage is described by the color of bangles. Thus, the main theme of the poem is that the bangles are a part and parcel of a woman's life in India. Each color or type of bangles represent each stage in her life. Silver and blue or pink represent the stage of maidenhood. Yellow, the morning of wedding. Fiery red, passionate longings in the bride's heart, symbolic of a bridal night, are representative of a girl's wedding. Gold and grey colors represent motherhood and matriarchy. Patriarchy. The poet here has not directly referred to the role and dominance of males in a woman's life, but there are enough hints of patriarchal setup in the poem. A man as father, husband, and sons play an important role in every stage of her life. The last four lines have been criticized as a tactical approval of patriarchal ideology by a woman poet, whose hands have cherished, whose love has blessed, and cradle fair sons on a faithful breast, and serves her household in fruitful pride, and worship the gods at her husband's side. By using fair sons, the poet has only upheld the gender discrimination in Indian families. The last line too shows women's insubordination by her husband. Even if the idea is factual or ironic, it only goes to favor a setup in which women are mere objects to be placed in fixed boxes. The poem The Bangle Seller deals with the group of bangle sellers who go to the temple fair to sell their bangles to earn money. It depicts a typical Indian scene and its sensibility. It is divided into four stanzas of 6 lines each. The speaker is one of the group of bangle sellers going to a temple fair to sell their bangles. In the first 2 lines, the life of these poor bangle sellers carrying the load of shining bangle is made clear. By using the phrase shining load, the poet means to convey the happiness of these bangle sellers. Despite the toil involved in the work, which does not give them money enough for a comfortable living. The next 2 lines are in the form of the bangle sellers' cry for the buyers to come and buy their goods. Their bangles are happy tokens of happy lives. They are meant for happy virgins and happy married women. In Indian culture, widows are not allowed to wear bangles. At least this was the practice in the past. Now, since we are getting modern, bangles have lost their importance as a sign of being married or not being a widow. The narrator uses beautiful imagery to describe bangles for the maiden's wrist. For the unmarried girl lost in the dreams of a happy marriage, they are bangles of misty silver blue, pink, and green colors. The young unmarried girl is implicitly described by the poet as a bud that dreams. The similes used come from the world of nature. Some are flushed like the buds that dream on the tranquil brow of a woodland stream. Some are aglow with the bloom that cleaves to the limpid glory of newborn leaves. They are bangles for the bride as well. The bride has strong longings and passion in her heart. The bangles that are suitable for her look like cornfields. They are golden yellow and even fiery red. But these colors are symbolic of love and passion. The poet describes the period of women at this stage as full of expectations and nervousness. The bride is happy at her marriage, but is also sorrowful at the thought of her separation from her parents. She is as beautiful and tender as her bangles. Bangles for the middle-aged housewife. There is a this proud middle-aged housewife who has successfully reared her sons, served her household, and hence has the place of pride by the side of her husband and all the religious ceremonies. The bangles suitable for her are purple and gold flaked grey. Now, let's read the poem and try to understand the poem stanza by stanza. The Bangle Sellers by Sarojini Naidu. Bangle sellers are we who bear our shining loads to the temple fair. Who will buy these delicate, bright, rainbow tinted circles of light, lustrous tokens of radiant lives for happy daughters and happy wives? So, here the poet is describing a scene where the bangle sellers are making their way towards the temple fair. Why are the bangle sellers going to the temple fair? Because probably they'll have a better chance to get more and more customers than moving from house to house, which will be very tedious. So they are going towards the village fair. Perhaps the village has a fair once in a week, once in a month, or a yearly fair. And these bangle sellers are aware of this place and they are making their way towards there, and they are calling out, who will buy these delicate, bright, rainbow tinted circles of light? So the first stanza makes it clear that a group of bangle sellers are on their way to a temple fair so that they could make some money by selling bangles. Though they have carried the loads of bangles, they are not unhappy. That is why the load of bangles to them are shining loads. The word shining loads is symbolic that the bangle sellers themselves are happy. These shining loads are meant for who? For happy daughters and happy wives. The multicolored bangles are beautifully described as rainbow tinted circles of light. By repeating the word happy, the poet has emphasized the human element of the product. The daughters who expect to be married soon wear bangles to express their happy longings. The wives who wear bangles express their happiness and contentment in their marital life. Bangle sellers are we who bear our shining loads to the temple fair. Who will buy these delicate, bright, rainbow tinted circles of light, lustrous tokens of radiant life for happy daughters and happy wives? So the bangles are for who? For happy daughters and happy wives. So who are the happy wives? The one who are privileged to wear bangles. That means the one whose husbands are alive. Now let's go to the next stanza. Some are meet for a maiden's wrist, silver and blue as the mountain mist. Some are flushed like the buds that dream on the tranquil brow of a woodland stream. Some are aglow with the bloom that cleaves to the limpid glory of newborn leaves. In the second stanza, the poet describes the bangles of various colors. Some of the bangles are silver or silvery and blue and as misty as mountain mist. When we see a mountain covered with mist, our heart rejoices. Is the pure beauty of nature, untouched beauty of nature. Very few people are able to scale the heights of mountains. So So these mountains are untouched. These mountains are not spoilt. So the poet here is trying to describe the beauty of a young maiden, a young girl. How beautiful a young girl looks, as beautiful as the misty mountains. Some are pink as buds that bloom on the calm surface of the forest stream. Some of these bangles are shining green, whose freshness is close to the vivid beauty of the newborn tender leaves. All these kinds of bangles are suitable for unmarried girls. The color expresses their tender longings. What the poet is trying to tell us, the poet is comparing the beauty of nature with the freshness of young maidens who are reaching the age where they would soon be married off. Now remember, the poem was written at a time when the girls would get married off at a very early age, in the early teens, in the 13s, in the 14s, in the 15s, in the 16s. So the freshness on the girl's face and the freshness of nature are comparative. Let's see the third stanza. Some are like fields of sunlit corn, meet for a bride on a bridal morn. Some like the flame of a marriage fire, or rich with the hue of a heart's desire. Tinkling, luminous, tender and clear, like her bridal laughter and her bridal tear. In the third stanza, the poet says that they have yellow bangles which look like cornfields. They are suitable for a bride on her marriage morning. Some fiery red bangles are like the flames of a marriage fire. They are expressive of the passion in her heart. They create a light ringing sound as the bride walks. They are shining and delicate as the laughter of the bride as she is getting married, or her tears as she weeps at the thought of separation from her parents. The fourth stanza. Some are purple and gold-flecked grey, for she who has journeyed through life midway, whose hands have cherished, whose love has blessed, and cradled fair sons on a faithful breast, and serves her household in fruitful pride, and worships the gods at her husband's side. The fourth stanza describes the bangles meant for housewives and mothers who have given birth to their children. Some of these bangles are purple in color and some are gold-flecked grey. All these bangles are meant for the married woman who is of middle age and whose hands have cared, loved, blessed, and brought up fair sons, good sons, of whom she is very proud, and who has proudly served her family and has the honor of sitting by her husband's side at religious ceremonies. The Satyanarayan Puja cannot be complete without the wife sitting by the side of her husband. So, the Bangle Seller is a poem where the poet refers obliquely to the life of first the bangle seller and second his customers or their customers, the happy daughters, the happy wives, the one who are about to get married, the one who are married. The title of the poem, The Bangle Seller, and we expected to read about the life of bangles sellers. But the poem refers to the life in the first two lines of the poem, and we are told that the group of bangle sellers is on their way to a temple fair to sell their wares. They cannot be happy as they have been described in a life of poverty and deprivation. They can, of course, appear to be happy, because what can a bangle seller earn? How much will he earn? And how heavy load is he carrying? Imagine the load of glass bangles, carrying this load of glass delicate bangles which are very fragile. How can they be happy? But they appear to be happy. So, expecting these two lines, we are told nothing about the bangle sellers. The narrator, on the other hand, tells us more about the women who are wearing these bangles. Most probably, the narrator is a woman, of course, Sarojini Naidu. She only talks about the bangles of various colors and colors which are cherished by women in different stages of their growth. Thus, the poem is about bangles, each color of which represent each stage of a woman's life as she crosses from her maiden to her bridal and to her mother. Thus, the title of the poem is inapt. We cannot say the title is correct, because the title is more about the womanhood than the bangle sellers. It should have been the bangle wearers than the bangle sellers. Or it could have been bangles, only bangles, or any other suitable title like such. The poet has used some similes in the poetry, the bangle sellers. In the second stanza, for instance, we have these similes: silver and blue as the mountain mist, summer flushed like the buds that dream. As I told you all, similes are comparison between two things using the word as and like. So, silver and blue as the mountain mist. The poet is comparing the colors of the bangles to the colors of the mountain mist, or the colors of the bangles to the colors of the buds that are growing by the side of a river. Some are like fields of the sunlit corn, some like, so these are all similes. Metaphors are also comparison, but they are more compressed and direct. They will not use the word like and as. Rainbow tinted circles of light. Now here there is no as or like being used. So the bangles are rainbow tinted color, circles of light. So this is a metaphor for a bangle. So shining loads, again comparing the bangles to the heavy load. So again this is a metaphor. Flushed like the buds that dream. So metaphor for maidens lost in their dreams of marriage. This again is a simile also. So now, what rhyme scheme is followed in the poem? The poem consists of 4 stanzas of 6 lines each. The rhyme scheme followed in each stanza is A, B, B, C, C, which is a couplet. It's a couplet form. It is mainly responsible for the melodious effect and fast rhyme that renders a lyrical and musical effect to the whole poem. It gratifies the auditory sense of the readers. Who is the narrator? What has been described earlier? So the narrator is one of the bangle sellers. Maybe a man or a woman, we can't say. We have no clue of the gender. It can be anyone, it can be a man, it can be a woman. It looks more so like a woman because the way the narrator is describing the colors of choice of a woman's stage, different stages of a woman's life. The bangles sellers are going to a temple fair to sell their bangles to earn money. They sell multicolored bangles to the happy maidens and happy wives. they have a very large variety of beautiful bangles. The happy maidens and the happy wives have an ample choice to select bangles of their liking. Now, what are these bangles for? Why has the poet repeated the word happy in the last line here? So, these bangles are meant for happy daughters and happy wives. By repeating the word happy, the poet has emphasized the human elements of the product. The daughters who expect to be married soon wear bangles to express their happy longings. The wives who wear bangles express their happiness and contentment in their married life. The bangles, which are silvery and blue and as misty as the mountains mist, are preferred by virgins, maidens who have countless longings for their married lives. The bangles, which are as pink as buds that bloom on the calm surface of a forest stream, are also preferred by the virgins, by the maidens. The shining green bangles are also liked by them. Purple and golden colored bangles represent motherhood. These colors are associated with the feelings of pride and fulfillment in the heart of the mother. What fulfills the life of an Indian wife and mother is rearing her sons, serving a family, and sharing the proud place of being by the side of her husband at religious rituals. These things fulfill the life of an Indian wife and a mother. However, a modern woman may not agree with this. A modern woman perhaps will be repelled by the patriarchal notions inherent in this passage. Gender discrimination and insubordination of women in the social and religious setup. Nowadays, we talk a lot about gender equality. So, this poem, if we can read the poem, we feel that it is a gender biased poem where more dominance, more importance is given to the males, though nothing about a male gender is mentioned here, but the way the woman is projected, a woman is considered to be happy only if she is married or she is about to get married. A widow is not supposed to be happy. That's what the poet tries to tell us, because a widow is not allowed to wear bangles. Bangles, which is one of the 9 parts of the Nau Shringar, an important part of a happy woman's life, is not allowed for a widow. Whereas no such restrictions are meant for men, whether he is a widower or whether he is a married man. There are no restrictions for a man in the society. So the poem on the whole appears to be gender biased.